What's going on, everyone? Anthony here with AC Toys, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are reviewing the final figure in the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Wave 12, and that is of the Lost Galaxy Green Ranger. So this is technically the third Wild Force Ranger figure of the team we've gotten. Fourth if you count Magna Defender. But here we go. This is the final window packaging we will be getting from the Power Rangers Lightning Collection line. And yeah, so far so good. Typical or former typical. You have the artwork that wraps around the side. Power Rangers Lost Galaxy logo right there at the top. Lost Galaxy green at the bottom. Power Rangers Lightning Collection. More of the artwork on the other side. 3D rendering of the figure at the back. Green at the top. And here's the barcode and legalese. If you guys need the barcode to scan at your local Target or Walmart, there it goes. I did see some people find this at Target today based off Facebook posts or whatnot. But anyways, let's crack this guy open and see how cool he actually is. All right, and here we have Lost Galaxy Green, aka Damon, out of packaging, and based off first-hand looks, he looks the best out of the bunch. But as you guys remember, I thought that with the last review, MMPR Black. If you guys are unaware, I do have that up. That'll be right there in the top right-hand corner. If you're watching on a television, go to my channel. Yeah. Anyways, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and take a quick look at his accessories. So first and foremost, he has his two weapon holding hands on him out of factory, just as always. And then he comes with a one fisted hand for his right hand and one kind of like posing hand for his other. I'm not familiar if you guys are well aware about my channel. Lost Galaxy is around the time I did stop watching Power Rangers, growing up as a kid or whatever. I watched a few episodes here and there, but realistically, that was the last. I think In Space was the last one I watched in its entirety. But anyways, there you go. Two extra hands. And then he has his Quasar Saber right here in its fully extended mode. It does have the correct animal print on there, if you guys are wondering if my camera would focus. So yeah, nicely done. Then he also have his sheath version. Once again, the animal is printed on there correctly, so that just ports in there like so. And you have it done very nicely. And you have it in there very nicely. And then as far as another weapon goes, he has his trans dagger, but he has it in its blaster form. So far with the Lost Galaxies, for their weapons, they seem to be just giving them random weapons. Not random as in not from the show, but like they all have different ones. So for example, obviously his trans dagger is in his blaster mode, which also comes with this blast effect that ports in there like so. It's a little loose. It's not on there super snug. And this came out a little bit warped, but not too bad. And as far as the Lost Galaxy Blue, he came with his trans dagger, but like in his dagger form, not his blaster form. And for Red, the single pack version, it came with his, I guess it's a bazooka. I don't know exactly what it's called, but yeah. So they all have different weapons, which I guess could be good and bad. If you're looking for uniformity, it's not so much for posing, but if you want them all to be unique posing, I guess this is one way to do it. And then last but not least, the extra accessory that he comes with is his civilian head sculpt. And in my opinion, I think this nails the actor very well, based off like screenshots I pulled off my phone before doing this. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but with the Lost Galaxy figures lately, they seem to be really nailing the head sculpt. I know with Kai, I think he was actually like number 3 pick for figure of the year for me last year. And so far, this guy is pretty well up there. I mean, if you guys are unaware, I do a top 10 Power Rangers figures at the very end of the year based on all the figures that came out in the US this year as an official release. So please, if you guys are interested in that, that should be coming out at the end of next month. I'm recording this on a Saturday morning. This should be out Monday morning if I'm planning everything correctly in my head. But yeah. Anyways, moving on, I guess technically the last accessory he has is his helmet sculpt, which looks very good based off like pictures I've seen. This nails screen accuracy pretty well. I didn't go too far into details. As you guys know, I do my reviews based off first impressions. I don't look over the figure at all. I'm learning about the figure as you are watching this video. So, oh, and in case you guys are wondering, yes, This also comes with that thinner neck peg, just like the Wild Force Blue and the MMPR Black. I don't know what it is. I guess somebody was saying that the hinge is like made smaller because they're trying to cut cost to like negate the cost of the new dumbbell neck joint that I showed you in my last video. So yes, this is much smaller than the original blue and red Lost Galaxy figure. So just be careful when pulling these on and off. But this one definitely seems a lot stronger than the other two. So, and there you go. I think this figure looks great. And honestly, he's probably up there, contender. He's definitely top 10 so far. Just basing off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly. I know there was a huge gap this year where a lot of figures didn't come out. So seems like we didn't get a lot of figures this year. But in actuality, we've got over 20 figures this year. So yeah, guys, this thing looks great. So let's go ahead and jump into details. So jumping into details about this figure, mine overall is done very nicely. No major paint flaws going on. There is a slight chip right here. I don't know if it's a chip or white paint spills, but either way, there's a little white mark right there above his belt. So, but other than that white mark, mine seems to be done very nicely. I don't know if they're supposed to be marking on the backs. I have to pull out my other figures real quick, but either way, and then the black lines do continue up here, so that way when he does look up and you have him in a weird crunch, it doesn't break away from the black and just turn white all of a sudden. So that's a very nice attention to detail. The silver trim around his visor is done correctly. I believe some people are afraid it was going to be white, but it's not. Yeah, overall, great. Not much design in the suit. It's almost a variation of like MMPR, if I'm being honest with you, just not diamonds, more streak, but overall a great looking figure, short of like the thinner neck peg. Yeah, let me make sure. Yeah, no other paint defects on mine, just this small little white mark right there. Other than that, this one came out really, really good. As far as QC wise in this wave, that's a blessing. So let's go ahead and move on to articulation. So moving on to articulation, you have your standard Power Rangers body articulation. He can look up about that far, down about that far, good amount of side to side. We'll do full 360 at the shoulder blade. There you go. Butterfly joints will go all the way back. Not too far forward, but relatively okay amount. We'll have the full 360 upper bicep. Double jointed pin elbows. We'll do full wrist rotation 360. Hinge in about that far. Out an okay amount, not too much out. And then you have your upper diaphragm. We'll rock side to side, left, right, whatever you need it to do. Ab crunch. We'll go down about that far. We'll go back about that far. No drop down hips, so he'll only be able to do the splits about that far. Not too bad, but not too great either. You have your upper thigh swivel. We'll do a full 360. Double jointed knees. Still has the pins. Boot cuff rotation and ankle rocker and pivots. We'll go back about that far. Forward about that far. Left, right. Peg holes at the bottom. So it is your standard, well, older standard Power Rangers like lightning articulation. I know with the newer pinless bodies, they do have the drop down hips, which help out a ton. Honestly, I think all that's missing from this line now is toe articulation. If they can find a way to add toe articulation to this line, I would greatly be pleased with Hasbro for that. They added it back to the Spider-Man figure, well, some Spider-Man figures, and it makes for photo realism a lot better, in walking and running poses and just in general. You don't realize you need it. I mean, I guess if you're not doing toy photography, you don't really need it, but please, Hasbro, add toe articulation to the Ranger figures. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to size comparisons. So for the first size comparisons, here we have him next to the Lost Galaxy Red Ranger and the Lost Galaxy Blue Ranger. This team is almost complete. Just a couple more figures to go, and yeah, we're golden. I know Hasbro was saying that they're not going to start any new teams until they finish current teams, but then they went ahead and dropped like some random ones, like, what was it? Wild Force, Dino Thunder, or Dino Fury, and like they added teams to their lineup before they finished teams, but that's neither here nor there. Glad we're coming closer to completing some other teams. So yeah, let's move on. All right, then here we have him next to the Lost Galaxy Magna Defender and the In Space Disguise Andros. All right, and here we have him to the other figures in this wave. Obviously, mine is black because, well, we all know what happened to my figure. It is kind of headless right now. But this does complete the Wave 12 review. Once again, thank you guys for watching. If I'm going to recommend a figure out of this entire wave that you can only get one, it'll probably be Kira, just to complete the core 3 of Dino Charge or Thunder. And then probably it would have to fall into Damon, just because it is actually my favorite figure out of the set. But if I do have to recommend only one, it has to be Kira, assuming you guys collected the other Dino Thunder figures. But if not, this is the one I pick. This is probably my favorite out of this group. Definitely black being the least, yellow being the second, blue being the third. So, as always, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video and you watched all the way through, please consider subscribing. I do lots of Power Ranger figures review and other Marvel Legends and Black Series figures from time to time. So, until next time, guys, later.